순간 느껴지는 고요한 떨림 너무 아름다워 선명한 목소리 한 번도 가져본 적 없던 설레임 널 바라볼 때면 시간은 멈추지 okay wherever you go love is true okay love is true
The rain had soaked you through as you waited outside the restaurant, the dampness seeping in and chilling you to the bone. You hugged your arms around yourself, casting one last hopeful glance toward the street. Still, no sign of him. With each drop, the excitement you'd felt about tonight faded, replaced by questions and doubts. Had he forgotten? Did he have second thoughts? Just as you were beginning to lose hope, a blur of motion caught your eye. A figure was running down the street, dodging puddles, clutching a bouquet of bright flowers. When he reached you, you could see him clearly, a handsome stranger, drenched and slightly out of breath but grinning. "Are you?" you stammered, surprised. "I'm not your date," he interrupted smoothly, his voice warm with an easy confidence. He extended the flowers toward you, his dark eyes holding yours. "But I can't imagine what kind of man would leave someone like you standing out here for an hour." You accepted the bouquet, feeling warmth rise in your cheeks despite the cold. Thank you." He gave a soft chuckle and shrugged off his leather jacket, draping it over your shoulders with a gentle care that felt somehow both protective and "I know it's bold of me," he admitted, his gaze never leaving yours. "But I think you deserve better. So let me take you inside, at least get you out of this rain." You hesitated, glancing at the restaurant's door, torn between loyalty to someone who hadn't shown up and the pull you felt toward this stranger. Why are you doing this?" you asked, voice soft. He tilted his head, a crooked smile forming on his. "Sometimes you just see someone and know they deserve more than to be left in the rain. Besides," he added, his gaze softening, "I'd hate to think you'll look back on this night as a disappointment. So let me change that." You nodded, almost in a daze, as he held the door open for you and followed you inside. The warm air and the comforting scent of food drew immediately, and you felt yourself relax. Seated across from each other, the stranger gave you a friendly, reassuring smile. "By the way, I'm Jungkook," he said, extending a hand. "And you are?" You took his hand, noting the warmth of his grip as you introduced yourself. "So tell me, what was so special about tonight?" he asked, leaning forward, genuinely interested. You hesitated before explaining. He said he wanted to make tonight special, to show me that he was serious." You sighed, feeling a tinge of sadness despite Jungkook's presence. "Guess that was all talk, huh?" Jungkook's brow furrowed, and he shook his head. His loss. I can't understand anyone who wouldn't show up when they said they would. It's such a simple way to show you care. He looked at you with a warm smile. But lucky for me he didn't, because I get to spend this evening with you. A laugh escaped you, and for the first time that night, the disappointment started to fade. As the evening went on, you found yourself laughing and opening up in a way you hadn't expected. Jungkook asked about your favorite places to visit, the kind of music you loved, even what movie made you laugh the hardest. The conversation flowed easily, and you felt an unspoken connection with him, a warmth that had nothing to do with the restaurant's heater. At one point, he took a sip of his drink and looked at you thoughtfully. You know, he said, the rain outside is finally letting up. What do you say we make this night memorable? You raised an eyebrow. Memorable? How? He grinned, a playful glint in his eyes. How about a walk around the city lights? I promise it won't involve more waiting. The night unfolded like a dream. Jungkook held your hand as you walked down the glistening streets under the soft glow of the street lamps. The cold had faded, replaced by the warmth of his hand in yours. You felt a sense of belonging, as though you'd known him for so much longer than just a few hours. Eventually, you found yourselves back at the spot where it all started, standing by the restaurant door. The rain had stopped, leaving behind the fresh scent of a new beginning. Jungkook looked down at you, brushing a stray strand of hair behind your ear. Thank you, you said softly, feeling more grateful than you could express. Tonight really was special. He chuckled, his gaze on you. Well, it wasn't just luck, was it? He gave a playful wink. Sometimes you just know. And as he pulled you into a gentle hug, you felt it too, a certainty, a spark that was more than chance. After that perfect night with Jungkook, a sense of clarity washed over you. You'd spent the evening laughing, talking, and feeling more seen than you had in a long time. As the days went by, Jungkook's kindness and warmth stayed with you, and it became obvious just how different he was from the man you'd been seeing. Finally, you decided you couldn't keep stringing things along with someone who made you feel like an afterthought. So, the next weekend, when your ex stayed, you corrected yourself, finally texted, asking if you were free. You replied with a simple, "Sure, let's meet." The coffee shop was cozy and warm, a stark contrast to how you felt as he finally strolled in, glancing around like nothing had happened. He spotted you, gave a small wave, and slipped into the chair across from you, looking mildly apologetic. "Hey," he started, giving a small, almost sheepish smile. "I'm really sorry about last week. something came up and I couldn't make it. You took a deep breath, steadying yourself. An hour in the rain, you asked, your voice soft but steady. No message, nothing. It didn't occur to you that I might be waiting? He shifted uncomfortably, looking down at his coffee cup. Yeah, I didn't handle it well, but I figured you'd understand. Understand? What? You asked, frowning. That you didn't care enough to let me know. That I was just waiting there, hoping you'd show up. For the first time, he seemed to realize the impact of his actions. He opened his mouth to speak but seemed at a loss for words. Look, I didn't mean to hurt you. Things are just complicated, he mumbled. You felt a calm, steady resolve settle over you. It's not complicated. I think you're just not as invested as I am, and that's okay. But I need more than that. I want someone who'll be there, who'll care enough not to leave me in the cold. And I've met someone who treats me that way. He blinked, caught off guard. Wait, there's someone else? You nodded, a small smile tugging at your as you thought of Jungkook and the way he'd shown up that night. Flowers in hand, the rain pouring down. Yes, someone who makes me feel valued. He didn't even know me, and he made sure I wasn't left standing alone. Felix's expression shifted, a mix of surprise and perhaps a hint of regret. But you didn't on it. You stood, slipping on your coat. Thank you for meeting up. I just needed to clear things up. As you left the coffee shop, you felt a weight lift from your shoulders. The sense of freedom was empowering, as though you were finally stepping into a story where you knew your worth. And as you walked down the street, your phone buzzed with a text from Jungkook. I hope I'm not being too forward, but are you free tonight? I'd love to take you out somewhere special. With a smile, you replied, Yes, I'd love that. You knew this time you wouldn't be left waiting. The weeks following that rainy night turned into something you hadn't anticipated. Every time you saw Jungkook, it felt like a quiet thrill, an unspoken understanding between you. He had become someone you could count on, someone who made the world feel a little brighter just by being in it. One evening, as the sun began to dip below the horizon, casting the city in a soft golden glow, you found yourselves strolling down a quiet path in the park. Jungkook paused, gazing out over the small lake before turning to you, his expression soft and thoughtful. You know, he began, I wasn't planning to run down that street in the rain, but when I saw you, I had to come over. You laughed, a little embarrassed by the memory. And I wasn't exactly looking my best that night. He smiled, taking a step closer. that's not what I saw. I saw someone who deserved more. Someone who was waiting for someone worth her time. He let out a soft breath as if summoning his courage. And now that I know you, I just don't want this to end. His words were simple, but they, filling the air between you. You felt yourself leaning closer, his hand brushing against yours as he gently tilted your chin up, his eyes meeting yours with an intensity that made your heart race. Jungkook, you whispered, barely able to get the words out. He murmured, his voice a soft promise. And then, in one fluid, tender movement, he closed the distance between you. That felt like it was sealing a promise. Time seemed to stand still, the world around you fading until it was just the two of you in that shared moment. When you finally pulled back, his hand still on your cheek, his thumb brushing as he looked at you with a soft smile. No more waiting, he whispered, his forehead resting against yours. And as you stood there, in the soft glow of twilight, you knew that your story had found its beginning. A simple, perfect moment shared with someone who would never leave you waiting.
지친 나를 위해 위로가 돼주네 나도 너에게 비가 되어줄게